With us in the studio right now, a man who knows all about Miguel Cotto. Michael Jennings, thank you for joining us today. You fought Cotto for that title when it was vacant. He's a bit special.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, you know, without a doubt. He's so deceiving because you can watch the fights and you know, he does everything right. You get in there and he does it again, sort of thing.
Well,
you know,
just reads the distance.
Yeah.
You think you're out of distance and you're not out of his distance.
Exactly, exactly what you just said there. I mean, I was jabbing in there thinking, you know, I'll jab, move straight away, but before I knew it, he was countering me straight away. I thought I was out of distance and he just took that inch step in and caught me with
So
a jab.
if you're in with better fighters before Cotto, Mike, you're saying you can find gaps, you can find ways out of corners and ways along the ropes, but this guy, just his little movements, just nothing
Yeah,
there.
just the footwork, you know. It's something that you don't regard Cotto as doing, you know. You don't think, oh, he's a good mover and all this on his feet, but he is. It's just the little inches that what gets him into distance and then gets him back out of distance when he needs to be.
And what about, you know, how hurtful a puncher is he? Because obviously, luckily, we didn't show a lot of you getting hit there, you understand me? But I've got to tell you, let me just tell you something, the producers here, they wanted to show loads of you getting bashed up. We had the same thing with Enzo Mack. I said, don't do that, he's a nice fella. So we didn't show a lot of you getting hit, Mike, not that you got hit that often, but there is something about his precision, isn't there? I mean, he hits you in the same spots again and again.
That's the old thing about Cotto. You know, in the fourth round, he caught with a left hook to the body. It's straight under the ribs, like what Brian calls it was a butcher's hook. You know, it was straight underneath. I went down, took the 8 count, got back up. 10 seconds later, he caught me with pinpoint accuracy with another left hook in the exact same place. You know, I got back up from that, carried the round on, and then in the 5th round, I think it was about the 2nd minute in the 5th round. Again, exact same place, and you'd think, you know, from the first one that I would learn and keep my hands down, but I was doing, but it was just how accurate he was. He was just straight underneath the elbow and under the rib.
And what about his size? I mean, because I think, I don't know about you, I mean, you maybe know, but it seems to me he always gains a lot of weight after the weigh-in. Don't look at yourself, you're on the floor, don't look at yourself.
Yeah, I mean, on the actual day of the weigh-in, everyone was saying how much bigger I looked than him.
Yeah.
And on the night of the fight, everyone was saying how much bigger he looked than me, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So he must put close to a stone on, you know.
Could you do that, Andy? Could you gain a stone overnight?
Could I? To be honest, you know,
It would take
my producer sitting there going, say you do it regularly, Bunty.
I know. Hey, that's unfair. It would take me at least 48 hours.
Michael, let me ask you, as someone who's never taken a punch in his life, what does it feel like when someone like Miguel Cotto hits you full on in the ribs or full on the chin?
Well, to be honest with you, there's different sorts of punches. His punches was more of like a thud, and the punches to the body that he caught me with, they was very hurtful. The punches that he caught me to the head with, I have been hit harder, sort of thing. It's hard to explain what a punch feels like. You know, you'll have to get Steve to do an experiment on you.
I never got hit by people as good as him, I can assure you, thankfully. Oh, listen, the bottom line is, Mike, he's got Joshua Clottey this weekend. Clottey's given up his IBF title. In fact, it's Miguel Cotto's WBO title. Yeah. They're fighting. How do you see that one going? We're going to speak to Mike Marley in a minute, but how do you see it? How do you see that one going?
Well, personally, I think Cotto will win me. I think he could even stop Clottey
late in the fight.
Like from round 9 onwards. If he doesn't stop him, then I still think he'll beat him unanimously.
This is a fight from 2 years ago here on Setanta. We did this up in Scotland. Me and Paul Dempsey and Duke McKenzie, who defected and went to ITV. That was a great night. In fact, that was one of our first fights. That fight, obviously, papers like the Guardian missed that because it was a real fight, wasn't it? Real action. You don't expect the Guardian to be writing about real fights, do you?
I even set foot in the building by that point. Quick question, we're going to speak to Mike Marley. Michael, very briefly, do you still consider Miguel Cotto to be unbeaten after all the shenanigans with Margarita?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I don't know even if Margarito had the things in his gloves that night, but I think he well and truly beat Cotto. Yeah, I think he well and truly beat Cotto that night. Yeah. Yeah,
well, it's be interesting to see if Margarito comes back next week. I'll tell you who we got on the line now. He's a friend of the show, good friend of mine, Mike Marley. How light on it? They asked you about the bandages. They come and inspect your bandages?
Yeah. They was in our changing room, and I don't know which one of his trainers it was, but he was inspecting our bandages because him and Brian, you know, they was going on, oh, you've done it wrong, you've put it over the knuckle, and the WBO had some different sort of rules than what the IBF and all the rest of it had, so we was unwrapping the bandages all the time.
The tightest inspection you've ever had on your bandages ever.
So the thing is with bandages, Andy, even if you don't suspect there's anything wrong, if you can get into the change room and have a guy when he's had his bandages made up, you know, with yards and yards, and it's complicated, and it takes, you know, it takes people like Dean Powell, Manny Stewart an hour and a bit to do the bandages. If you can get in there when there's only 60 minutes to go before the fight and have him take them off anyway, you've ruined it for him. Because you've cut down his warm-up time, you've spoiled his balance, he's feeling good, it's like it's therapeutic having your bandages put on, and suddenly you've got to take them off even if they don't suspect anything, and they give you a green light. Well, you've got no comeback. You can't put them back on. They're discarded. That's right, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, once you've got your bandages on, that's it then. You've got your own time to get warm, do your own stretching. I like to get there early, get my bandages wrapped up, and then you're not rushing about, because it's not a matter of 2 minutes wrapping your hands up. You know what I mean? It takes like 10, 15 minutes each hand. So if someone comes in an hour before saying, take your bandages off, they're no good. That's it. You've got like 15 minutes then to get warmed up.
Listen, I know you say you fancy Cotto for this fight on Saturday, but let's talk a bit about you, because yourself, you've got a few interesting irons in the fires, a few party nights in the planning. Your band's going places.
Yeah. My band's we're supporting Ian Brown again this year sometime, and also I've got my security firm going on, JenningsSecurity.com. And then
it's funny, I couldn't quite see that on the t-shirt.
So you got, and I heard a whisper that the DJ, you could have this special club night. The DJ's going to be Bez.
Yeah, we've got Bez DJing up at Rooms nightclub in Preston. It's the newest nightclub in Preston, so you know it should be a good night. And you know, well, we're hoping we're going to shift a few tickets.
Well, listen, that's outside the ring. What about inside the ring, mate? Everyone's talking Kell Brook. Is that something that, you know, does that light your fire, or is it something that you're thinking possibly not, you know, not that bothered?
Yeah, of course. I mean, end of the day, I've never been one for picking opponents or anything. I've always boxed whoever they've turned around and said. So, you know, if that's the fight that they want, Kell Brook, yeah, I'm up for that, because I want a title fight. I don't want to be fighting 6 and 8 rounders for the rest of my career.
Sure.
You know, I'm always in the gym, I'm always training. Me and Brian, we always sit down, we talk and all that. I just want to get some good fights.
So Kell Brook was possibly one of them. Look at the European. He's gone quite the European.
Yeah, the European. I mean, I don't even know if he's vacated. Rafael Jakovic. So I beat him a few years ago in Widnes. You know, I absolutely hammered him. So potentially there could be a fight there. I don't know.
Interesting stuff, Mike. We'll look forward to seeing you in the ring again. I'm sure you'll be watching on Saturday night.
Definitely.
Big fight on Setanta Sports 2 this weekend. Miguel Cotto versus Joshua Clottey. Coverage from Madison Square Garden is on Setanta Sports 2 from 2 a.m. early hours of Sunday morning. Well worth staying up for. If there's one fight you want to see this month, make sure it's that one. Michael Jennings, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Cheers.